All right, and we're back. We're not going to do the theme song. We already did that a minute ago. Hey, folks, we're back. We are back. We are live here at Big D After Dark. Sorry about the technical issues that we just had. I think the sound is better. We don't have the echo, so we're going to go with this live stream, and hopefully you can find us and rejoin as we get going again. Thanks for being here tonight. Welcome to Big D After Dark, the live stream soccer show / podcast where we break down FC Dallas action and news results. As well as we're going to get a little bit into the United States men's national team victory in the Gold Cup. We'll touch upon that because there was a lot of FC Dallas links in that game. And we'll talk a little bit about North Texas soccer. We'll talk about some of our hopes for the coming month of play. So thanks for joining us. Let us know if you're having any issues in the live stream chat. If you have any questions, we'd love to have you join us as we get going here. Welcome to Big D After Dark. And as usual, joining me there, and I've got around, but there on the end is Jose at El Chico Carmona, and in the middle, he said he can't turn on the camera for reasons that are national secret, top secret reasons. So I put the little Chuck Norris rotating snippet thing there, so we can at least imagine that's what he looks like. And that's Bird Turgler at Bird Turgler. Ben and Jose, thanks for being on here tonight. Let's get right into it. FC Dallas goes into Sporting Kansas City and wins 2-1. Let's talk about this sweet, sweet result. Can we talk about it? Can we talk about it?
Sure.
I mean, it's something we needed. You know, the fan base, that is, in general. I know we've been SKC, six out of the last 7 games? I might be wrong, but still, the way this game has played, the way this team has played on the road, I mean, we were just hopeful to come out of there with a point, you know, hoping that the kids would find a way to scrape out a point. And no, I mean, they basically picked up right where they left off in Frisco, really, in all honesty. To me, it seemed like a continuation of that match. And I think that's what we've all been waiting for. We've all been saying, well, how come you can't play that way on the road? And I think it helped that Paxton, you know, had that beautiful shot 3 minutes into the match. I mean, that's if you're talking about a pick-me-up, a instant boost of confidence, that was it. I mean, I think they played with like they were at home the rest of the match. You know, I think the only time we were all worried was down the stretch when SKC was throwing everything at them. But you know, they persevered. Lucci got the subs right. Love it. I think that gloom and doom that has been surrounding pretty much most of the fans in the season, I think that lifted a little. There's you know, a little ray of hope just snuck through. And I'm hoping that there's more of that.
Yes. Ben, what are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like the Lucci out thing quieted down somewhat. Maybe the fun drive for the Hunts Out airplane banner slowed down a little bit. I mean, I hate Kansas City. I hate Spork. Hate Vermes. I wish them nothing but failure. And so to beat them, for me as a fan, is great. It's like one of the best, you know, 5 teams that I would enjoy FC Dallas beating in the league. Like on a really like nasty personal level, you know. I mean, of course you got Seattle up there, I would say. You know, I think I'm already starting to get a little bit of a feeling like that for Austin. You know, of course Bruce Arena. That was a great win against New England, but you know, just continuing the streak against Vermes and Kansas City, where they're unbeaten in 6 against them, is just incredible.
It's incredible.
Bruce didn't whine. I mean, I think what's so satisfying about beating SKC is that the whining permeates everyone and everything, from the manager to the fans to the players to the people covering Sporting Kansas City to even their play-by-play guys. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard. I don't think I know of another team where the whining is like full blast.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody. I mean,
yeah, on field, off field.
Yeah, in their social media. I mean, my God, take the L, man.
I know they sure, the fans sure whined on Twitter, and of course I saw even wrote articles with their hot takes, which were pretty bad, and then complained about FC Dallas fans being bad when it's like, come on, y'all. Like I noticed too, like they had the big banner for Roger Espinoza, and credit to him. I mean, Sporting Kansas City has a talented lineup. I mean, I think Lucci talks highly in the post game. Talked highly of when I asked him about what it's like to coach just down the stretch there from Vermes, and all of Vermes' intensity. Lucci was really, really kind, and it just said he, was always looking to learn something from Coach Vermes, that he has a well-oiled machine there. He puts together a talented squad, a competitive squad every year. And Roger Espinoza had a lot of love, but boy, Roger Espinoza right away, right early in the match, locked into, even his own whining, his own getting into the ref's ear, and you have to do that, I guess, to a degree, but it's so weird for the team to complain about other opponents bringing in different tactics. Like, come on, y'all, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror.
I know. I think a lot of the stuff that Sporting Kansas City accuses FC Dallas of doing is tactics they employ themselves. So I think they're just looking at themselves in the mirror in some of those tactics and not liking somebody else employing them on them. Like they're the only ones allowed to use them.
Yeah.
So, but. It's exciting. What's really exciting, and it's on multiple fronts. Tafari continues to shine in the back line, and you had Tuamasi made a long overdue debut at right back. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been hearing for a long time that Tuamasi was supposed to be the guy that was being groomed to be our starting right back, not Njoma, but I mean, he looked solid. He wasn't perfect, but he looked good. And the Cirillo Facundo pairing was excellent. Was it me or was Cirillo up higher? I thought, I thought it was going to be like a double. Wasn't playing the end, but Cirillo was playing more like an 8, which is I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. But I mean, he did good, And of course, our attack. I mean, wow, no Ricarte, but no drop off. I mean, you had Paxton, Jesus, Pepe, and Shun. The 4 of those guys were just. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I thoroughly enjoyed Shun just terrorizing Susie the whole match. It was great, and again, I said it last week. When opponents can't key on just one attacker, they have.
That's right.
You get those one-on-one opportunities, and that's where you see these guys excel. You gave Paxton a little window, boom, he punishes you. You gave Jesus a little window, boom, he punishes you. You lead Susie out one-on-one with Shun blows by him. It was just something that I said it in previous podcasts. To me, it's felt like the whole first half of the season has been just one big giant preseason, and Lucci has been basically trying to find a starter for each spot that fits, and failing miserably at times He's been trying to figure out his bench at the same time, and it looks like he's finally got it. Like he's finally got the pieces where he wants them. He's trying to figure out who to use when, or he's at least closer to it. And the team is looking like a well-oiled machine. For such a young team, you gotta love it. This is what was advertised at the beginning of the season. I'm glad we started finally seeing it.
It's exciting. Paxton and Jesus both, as you mentioned, got off the mark, got their first goals of the season. And for Paxton especially, it's been a long wait for him, coming off of injury, as the team has sort of taken it slow, deservedly, because we could see the difference he's made in the past few weeks. He is a difference maker on the pitch for this team. And Jesus was going to start the year maybe the hottest player on the squad, but had that injury that kind of, messed things up. But hey, it was great for him to get on the score sheet as well. I think it's what you're asking, Jose. And Ben, I'd like to hear from you too. Kind of like, is this good news for FC Dallas's attack over the course of this busy month ahead?
Well, obviously the health issue coming into the season was kind of a big deal. I don't know whether they would have instantly kind of morphed into the system because of the amount of money being paid to a certain player, but certainly at this point it looks pretty ideal. It's also a very young attacking front four. So hypothetically, at least, the grind of the 6 games this month, again, won't be something that the young legs won't be able to handle. Especially since most of them really actually haven't played that much this year, aside from Pepe. So, this month could be really, really good. With the obvious caveat that, running a Har out to start a couple of games could really ruin all that. But, I'm hoping that the lesson has been learned now, and we move on, and Hara can come off the bench. Hara actually looks okay coming off the bench. So yeah, keep rolling with that until the wheels fall off.
Oh, whoa! Did Ben just say something positive about Hara? I was like, was I paying? Oh my god! I don't know. I'm just curious. I want to tell you something. So keeping in mind that Shun and Facundo have looked so good recently. Let's face it, we all had our complaints, but let's face it, in the last 2 games, both of those guys have suddenly began to show us why they were brought in. Everyone complains about, Dallas is horrible at finding, talent and this and that, foreign talent. But these 2 guys haven't been with the team very much. But in these last 2 matches, they look like they've been here all along. Their passing has been phenomenal. Shun was I think that he was about mid 80s, and his Facundo was in the high 80s. And that's what you want from these guys. And mind you, what's great about that is who was the rest of the attack? Cerrillo, Pepe, Paxton, Jesus, all academy kids, all kids that have been playing together long before them starting for FC Dallas. So you could see that. You could see the old academy free flowing attack.
The knowledge of knowing how you play together, like knowing what you're capable of. That if I hit a ball like this, Pepe can get there, or that those kinds of things. That
these guys have they have way more minutes playing together as amateurs than professionals, and that carries over. The confidence. Paxton knows what kind of run Pepe's going to make. He knows where Cerrillo is. He knows, he knows he can, and it's not just that he knows. They have the confidence from having done it over and over again. There's no doubt, and you see it. You see how suddenly a very lethargic, our midfield looked lethargic earlier in the season, and just a disappointment. And now you're starting to see those quick passes, those quick, meaningful possessions where basically you're like, oh yeah, there's a goal coming, which we haven't said too often this season, but in the last two games, you see it now. You see where Dallas is passing with purpose. They're pressing with purpose, and they just seem to be on the same page. And I want to say that the fact that you're playing all these academy kids together, and then you've got the other attack guys doing what they're counted on to do. I mean, it's exciting.
Well, let's shift. We talked about the the front four, and it's looking like Lucci has his front four. It's exciting, and we don't know the ceiling of those four yet. But what about the back line? Good news to see Matt Hedges back with some minutes after his long injury absence. No sign of Jose Martinez yet, but I think he's coming back now. He's off the injury report. But yeah, you mentioned Twumasi earlier. What a performance. What a gutsy, physical performance from the guy. I asked Lucci about him. Are we going to see him more in that position? And Lucci didn't say much. Lucci sort of dodged that question because I do think if Che gets healthy, Che probably is going to slot back in. But Twumasi really impressed me. He battled hard. And Tafari, what a growth we have seen from this young center back. His passing, he probably outshined Bresson in this one.
Absolutely.
So what's our ideal back line going to look like? I think now that's a question that we're going to have to kind of figure out. I mean, we're pretty sure Hedges is part of that, right?
And the question is, can you, if Hedges is healthy next week and Martinez is healthy, are you going to bench Tafari? That's what everyone's wondering, because Tafari has looked like he's coming to his own. He's looks like the heir apparent to Hedges, really. And I think that's what's exciting. On Twumasi, I think we can all agree that nobody expects Che to be here past, once the season's over. He's too good to remain in Dallas. And this is where seeing Twumasi go in there and perform, now all the weight isn't on Munjoma to be the guy. Now you've got seeing Tafari and Twumasi shine. Let's face it, you got to find players that are going to be MLS veterans for years to come, and those guys look like players that are going to be with the team for years to come. And you need to find those. If you're going to be selling players left and right, you need to have players like Hollingshead, probably one of the best left backs in the league, who we all know will never get called into the U.S. men's national team. But you can count him. You can count him over at left back. You need players like that. Hedges, who has been one of the best center backs in the league for years. You need to find those players if you're going to be a selling team, and that's what's exciting.
Yeah. Ben, what do you think? What does the ideal back line look like for you going down the stretch for FC Dallas?
Boy, that's gonna be tough. Mainly because it was kind of hard to gauge Martinez coming into the year, and Hedges too, since he had a knock most of the year too. So, if they're both healthy and really back and good, I think they have to end up slotting back in. But Burgess is playing great right now. 16 clearances on Saturday? 16.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Almost 50% of all the clearances.
Yeah. No, and it's good because he's got wheels. He's a ridiculously good athlete, totally jacked. And his play has just really come along in the last month. So, time to put Matt Hedges out the pasture? I don't know.
No, let's not go there. But you know what? I think Lucci has to feel better about his rotation now. You know, when those midweek games come, he's going to be more than happy to start. You know, hold any combination of the four now. I think. You know, it's like, yeah, I can start two on the weekend and be fully confident that the two behind them are capable of starting. So you can start Jose and Matt on the weekend, and then start Berzon and Tafari in midweek, and know that there's that they can handle it because they've been handling it. I think that's what's exciting is he's going to have a real four center back rotation once those guys are healthy. And I mean, I think from there on, you'll be looking at the matchups and saying, okay, who matches up better with the opponent's attack? And I think that's what it's a luxury that any coach will.
Yeah, and that 5-3-2, you know, that's maybe gets a little stronger now with guys who are in form and confident.
Whoa, it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. Come on.
Well, no, I agree with you, but I mean that's essentially what they did on Saturday was bring in Hedges late to sort of lock things down, the extra body. But yeah,
but that was because Berzon. You know.
Oh, but that's right. He went off. No, thanks. No, that he ate his shin guard, which was a minor social media sensation.
He found a way to outshine Tafari.
He was a passionate dude. Now, so many passionate moments in this match, and just a lot of things to love, a lot of competitiveness. We'll come back to FC Dallas in a minute, but let's just talk. We don't talk about it often, but. Hey, Gold Cup final happened last night, and a United States men's national team that was definitely fielding at a B- squad, a B squad at best, more like B-, even C+. Gutted out a big win against Mexico in Las Vegas, 1-0 against a Mexican team that was, missing a few people, but far more of an A team than
it's probably an A- team, but still, it was, you know, they were definitely the favorites to win the tournament based on their lineup, and I know now they're doubling back and claiming they also sent the B team. Nobody's buying that. Nobody's buying it.
And enough to hear their pundits say like, "Oh, this game doesn't really matter. The Gold Cup really doesn't matter." You're like, "Come on." I mean, yeah.
This team was basically out to prove, its own fans wrong. I mean, the fans were basically complaining about just about everybody on that team at some point or another, you know. And it's like, and I think the players took that us against the world because even their own fans were a pretty toxic bunch, mind you, and it had to basically make their opponents and their own fans eat their own words, and now it's like, shut up, we're champions, we don't care what you think of us. Be grateful that the U.S. men's national team now has depth, which is basically what that announced. That, hey, you can lean on our B team for some tournaments now, and be certain that they're going to be competitive. I mean, wow. 1-0 win after 1-0 win after 1-0 win, which is amazing. And the only goal they allowed was on a penalty kick, and they didn't allow a goal from the run play throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that was amazing with, like a very, very green defense. I think, outside of Zimmerman, like nobody had more than 5 caps going into the tournament.
Well, I think Acosta is the lone exception,
Acosta, granted.
Acosta and Giassi, excuse me, who both got a lot of criticism from fans throughout the tournament, and honestly, it wasn't deserved, the criticism, because Acosta was, he was like Superman out there. He was basically incredible. Just willing that team, and amazing watching him. Watching him employ the dark arts out there. was sensational. It was great. I mean, a true veteran performance from Acosta. I mean, FC Dallas was front and center. You had Acosta, you had Cannon, you had Shaq Moore. I mean,
and that other guy that plays for Mexico.
Funes Mori, yes. So, I mean, yeah, FC Dallas was front and center out there. I mean, it's here's your B team, and there's still a bunch of FC Dallas kids out there balling and putting on the show. Do you realize that the depth chart at right back is basically, if Des plays on the left side, your depth chart is Cannon, Moore, and Reynolds. Think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, there'd be a lot of debate on that. A lot of people are big on Yedlin.
Yedlin and stuff like that. But let's face it, those three are in the conversation, no matter whether you like it or not.
Sure.
I think Reynolds is the one that you can say, okay, Yedlin should be ahead of him. But I'm just saying, it's still, even if you put Yedlin and another, you're still looking at 3 of the top 5 right backs and are basically FC Dallas guys.
Oh yeah, without question.
And then Che will enter the picture at some point if he does go to Bayern, and hey.
My guess is that the left back problem will be solved for the USMNT national team when FC Dallas produces a viable left back. I mean, that's the way this is going,
I mean,
hey, Jonathan Gomez, his day is coming soon.
Yeah. And really, Ryan Hollingshead would have been a nice piece. I mean, you take Hollingshead over Sam Vines any day right now. I mean, Vines might turn out to be a great player, but he's got a transfer coming. But yeah, Kellen Costa, just going back to them. Some fans are always going to look back at that, and I've seen some chatter, some complaining that hey, we let this guy go for peanuts. We got Baji in return, some draft picks and things. And yeah, it was a tough loss for a guy that we saw grow up here and was really an exciting player to watch. But we also knew that the team, at least what we know from FC Dallas, is they're not going to sell a player just to sell a player. They're going to sell a player if the player's ready to go, if the offer's right, if the circumstances are right. And it was tough to see him go, but Kellen wanted a change of scenery. So how can you say no to a player that you've seen grow up? I
want to add to that. I want to argue with these people, but it's pointless. The truth is Dallas has a reputation for doing what's right by its players, and that's what people are forgetting is that Kellen asked to be moved, and they moved him. We've seen it time and time again with Cobra and the Bulgarian kid and Watson back when his daughter got sick and he wanted to go out to the East Coast. But never any hesitation from the team from moving these players as quickly as possible. And it's a reputation that people forget. It's like they're like, oh, they did Acosta bad. All they did is they had value on him. And if there were European teams interested, they didn't meet that value. And that's just being a businessman. That's just, hey, we know what the player's worth to us. We're not going to just give them to you. And, of course, with a player who wants to go to Europe, that's not always going to sit well with them. And let's face it, his move had more to do with the fact he had stuff going on outside of the team that had become too much. And he was slumping on the field. He knew that he needed a change. And the team did right by him, and people are just constantly trying to twist that and say, oh, you guys did him wrong. They say the same thing about McKennie. You did McKennie wrong. No, that's also a false narrative right there, But by the time they knew they wanted to sign McKennie, they didn't have the kind of money that they would need to even convince him to change his mind of going to Germany. This kid already knew what he was worth and where he was going to go. And they needed to start signing him at a younger age. Yeah. And that's basically what changed from that is Dallas started signing kids 15 years old. So, I mean, people can always look at the things and try to paint it bad, but all we can do is roll our eyes and say that's hindsight. You're painting it incorrectly.
Well, it's good stuff. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to Kellen and Reggie. More opportunity. And there was, by the way, a little buzz about Reggie maybe going to France to Nice.
The original rumor was that Bordeaux, because that's where the guy that used to own LOSC, he sold LOSC and now he's an investor for Bordeaux, and he's already signed Ellis from Boa Vista, and then he's also signed Mangas, who's the starting left back for Boa Vista, and he's made no bones that he's, the guys that were signed by Boa Vista last season were guys that he intended to bring to LOC, so he's simply going back and getting them for Bordeaux. So the idea was, he didn't hide it. He wants Reggie. So it was a shocker when, was it Bucio?
Yeah. I think he was just messing with him, but I don't know.
But you know what's interesting about that is that Ken was picking on Bucio, saying, calling him Venezia. And Bucio was saying, hey man, that deal's not done, what are you doing? And then Bucio retaliated by saying, dropping the Nice rumor. Honestly, you saw Ken's face, like he had a shocked look, like how do you know that? And that's why I think that's what all the fans caught on. It's like, Ken is legitimately stunned there. There must be something there, because you got to think. You got to think if LOSC was looking at him and Bordeaux was looking at him, you can't help but think that the other French clubs are saying, what are they looking at? Mm-hmm. And I tell you right now that I know that the championship Portugal clubs are interested in Canada. The only question really is Boa Vista going to demand for too much? One thing about that, about Cannon and the whole Boa Vista thing, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that Boa Vista is under a transfer. They can't transfer players. So what they did is with Mangas and Ellis is they loaned them to Bordeaux with an option to buy. And so very likely that's what's going to happen with Cannon is I don't think Boa Vista can sell them outright. So Dallas isn't getting that money.
Wow.
Right away. But very likely whatever happens to Cannon is going to be a loan with an option to buy, I think.
Well, exciting times to consider all that. Now let's shift over to some North Texas talk. We talk about the things that are coming. Well, North Texas went up to Omaha and drew Omaha at Omaha. It's a lot of Omahas.
The number one team in USL League One.
So is that growth? Is that growth for North Texas, Jose?
That is growth. North Texas is just like FC Dallas, hadn't won a single point on the road. And you go and the three top teams in USL League One are Union Omaha, Greenville Triumph, and Chattanooga. And you played those guys, and you beat Greenville. You got screwed out of 3 points against Chattanooga with that bogus red card against Benjoma that cost you basically allowed Chattanooga to equalize at the death. But then they went and they fell behind to Union Omaha, who were practically unbeatable at home. And North Texas, not only did they get a point, they were threatening to take all 3 points down the stretch. They looked very good. And most importantly, they did it with almost, I don't think they had a single, they might have had one. I think they had one FC Dallas loanee on there. And that's what's impressive about that is wow. It's just the MT XSC guys. So it's something to build on. They're still towards the bottom, but they've got games against some of the low feeding teams like Tucson and North Carolina. So that run could still be there. I think they're a playoff team. I don't think they're gonna threaten the top three guys. But I have a feeling that if North Texas gets into the playoffs, FC Dallas will gladly loan them about 5 or 6 players. So I think, and you guys know that Dallas wants their players to play in that kind of environment. So
yeah.
that's what will happen. I think if North Texas gets into the playoffs, and I think they will, they'll get in as a 5 or 6 seed, maybe a 4th at best. If I'm a team, one of the other teams, I'd hate to see them. Oh God, we got to play North Texas, and FC Dallas is going to loan them 5 or 6 players. And they don't even have to do that. They, 4 guys. So yeah, it was a fun weekend to be FC Dallas and US fan.
It was. It was, and do recommend you read the piece on Big D Soccer about North Texas and some good insight there, some good reflection, some fun questions too about the squad and about some of the potential, including Ferry, who is one of their newer signings and is doing quite well. Yeah,
doing great. He's like for North Texas, he's kind of like Facundo has been for FC Dallas. He's a guy that helps control the center, and one of the reasons North Texas, I think, is looking more like a playoff team is because of Ferry. Ferry came in and he's helped basically stabilize the attack. I mean, we just don't still have the attack from the last 2 years that were just 4 goals on goals on goals. But they are more consistent now. They're more dangerous. They just need to get those finishes in, which they're still struggling to do.
All right, well, let's close out our show by doing this. By Drew, our faithful editor-in-chief on the site, posted a great sort of walkthrough, kind of an August outlook. It's going to be a busy August for FC Dallas and a crucial one if playoffs are going to be a possibility. And, of course, we know things can still go a lot of different ways with this team, so we'll see how it goes. So, Ben and Jose, here's how we'll do. We'll go rapid one by one down each upcoming match. And I just want to get your sense, win, draw, or loss. What your sense is for each fixture. So we start away this week at Seattle, a Seattle team that is missing folks, that is banged up, that has lost a couple of games at home. So there's possibility there, but still, it's Seattle. It's a tough place to play. Ben and then Jose, what do you think FC Dallas does on Wednesday? Win, loss, or draw?
Draw.
For me, I think I'll be happy with a draw, but my gut tells me that being that it's Seattle and being how chippy the games between Seattle and Dallas can get, I would not be shocked if we get a red card. And I could see Dallas winning and then holding on for dear life for a point down the stretch. So, like I said, I think it's going to be a chippy match. Because let's face it, Seattle and Dallas, it's basically an underrated rivalry. When they play, they really get scrappy out there, and it'll come down to how the refs call it. The refs let them play. It could be something a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be. Like I said, I'm hoping for a point, but I'm worried about how the refs call the match.
Well, yeah, point would be great. A loss is a real possibility. The turf is a problem, and it's not a good game, I think, to run Hedges out. So, but I'm thinking Paxton has a revenge game. Paxton has a revenge game and goes out and does something special. 2 goals from Paxton, 2-1 victory. All right, Austin FC at home, August 7th. We've been looking forward to this one just to put that upstart in their place, that upstart squad from South. But, Austin still has an opportunity to mix things up, but though they have been struggling. Ben, Jose, what do you think? Win, loss, or draw?
Win. Hot, bitchy hipsters from Austin are not going to be happy.
I mean, I think anything other than a win against Austin will be a huge disappointment for all of us. I'm with Ben. I don't just want to see them go out there and beat Austin. I want them to go out there and just spank them.
I agree, and if there is another result, I mean, unless Austin just plays out of their mind or something, it's just a weird thing, you know. But
it might debut their DP against FC Dallas. That's Dallas and one other team are in consideration. So my guess is they roll them out against FC Dallas. But their attack has been dreadful. Dallas just has to get get a goal out first, and I think after that, Austin will fold.
Yeah, if it turns into a loss or even a draw, I think playoff hopes really start to dim. I think just we just don't know, but margins are going to be pretty thin. You got to win your games at home. Then Sporting Kansas City on August 14th. After a fun one last week, this will be one I think Sporting Kansas City will want to come in and get some revenge on. What do you think? Win, loss, or draw?
Undefeated win.
It's a win for me.
Yeah, it's got to be a win. Got to send Kansas City packing. And Jose, you mentioned. I think you mentioned. No, who mentioned? Someone mentioned in the comments. Maybe it was you, Ben. I saw earlier that Kansas City is going to play Leon earlier that week. Was that you, Ben?
That wasn't me. I think that was
somebody else. All right.
I think that's a man in Denver or Colorado, wherever Sound and Fury is. I think he's somewhere in Colorado.
Okay. Yes. All right.
Is that an exhibition or what is that? Is that the?
Yeah, that's
Leagues Cup.
The Leagues Cup, yeah.
Well, I don't even see the comment now. So anyway, it's here somewhere. But yeah, and I thought that was interesting. So we might even see a weak Kansas City.
I don't think it matters. I think Lucci has Vermeer's number, and I'm all for it. So I think that's another 3. And let's look at this. If Dallas can find a point against Seattle, Sonny, you're looking at a point against Seattle, possibly 3 against Austin, possibly 3 against. I mean, you're really starting to see that momentum that we were hoping this team could build on. And you get young kids going, and young players, they can play like they're invincible. And I like to see that.
Yeah. Then we next have another home game August 18th against Seattle. Seattle comes to town. And a tough one, a midweek game, so it's always tricky. Those are, but again, it's a home game. Got to win, right? So win, loss, or draw on that one.
Win. I mean, Seattle is, they think they're the play the kids team. Now that they won, totally lucky against an expansion team, but. Fact is that they're not. They're an old team playing down in the heat. Come play your kids. Come play your kids in Frisco. See how it works out for you, Schmetzer.
And you got. I agree with Ben. It's like you play a bunch of kids, and suddenly everybody is trying to claim they're better than FC Dallas. Come on, it's ridiculous. I've been arguing with Philadelphia Union fans because they're like, no one does the model we do. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You guys act like you're the only team that's won the Shield and has won U.S. Open Cup with a bunch of homegrowns. Like Dallas did it, and I'm sure the Red Bulls did it before Dallas. You guys pretend like, and they're like, oh, someone told me that no, that was a different model that Dallas was employing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Jesse Gonzalez, you had Coy Craft, you had who did you have on there? You had Jesus. There was quite a few. There was like 6 or 7 homegrowns that played, and 3 of them were starters, if I remember correctly. Acosta was a starter. God, I can't think of his name.
Ulloa.
Ulloa. And I mean, Aaron, he plays for Tampa Bay now. Yin was on that team. I mean, and I think fairly sure Dallas led the league in homegrown minutes, and if they didn't, it's because New York Red Bulls probably beat them out because it was always one or the other. Yeah, Seattle, keep dreaming.
All right, last two of the month, both away games. First on August 21st against Houston. A win, draw, or loss?
That one's going to be a draw.
I will take it. I'm going to go out and say it's a win. I think if Dallas comes out of their home matches on a win streak, yeah, I think they'll go into Houston and they'll just, it's a run. I mean, that's the only way to say it. And it could start against Seattle. If they can get a point against Seattle, I think you're seeing the beginning of a run where suddenly everybody's going, hey, remember all those home games you got at the end of the season? Yeah, look out. And people will complain, like, oh, well, you guys are going to sneak into the playoffs. We're starting to see a trend with Lucci where his teams start really slow, really bad, and then they pick up steam. And I mean, that's what we all wanted. We all wanted the hot team at the end of the season, not the beginning of the season, and that's what we're getting. And I think that's what this team is going to be. You're seeing all the pieces fall together. And I really believe that Dallas will be a team that will be playing on all cylinders come the end of the season. And if they're playing like that, look out. They just got to get up.
Look out. Yeah, I mean, I'm just picking a draw against Houston because more than half of their games have ended in a draw, regardless of opponent. So, it just seems like the numbers play.
And I would be okay with a draw there also.
Finally, against Austin at Austin, which will be a fun and a big match. And I know Austin will probably be up for that one. So I would lean toward a draw on that one. What do you guys think?
I mean, just out of pure spite for Jason Benedict Arnold Poon, it's going to be a Dallas win. It's going to be a tough first year now that Jason is a fan of another team, which, he deserves it, So, sorry, Jason. Not sorry, Jason.
Yeah, unless their new DP fixes all their offensive issues, I think you have to feel very good about Dallas coming out of there with 1 point and a real shot at 3. And let's face it, if Dallas can make a statement in the state, just within the state against Houston, Austin, in those matches, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, everybody cheer you.
Well, let's leave it there. We're sorry about the technical difficulties. We'll keep working on those as we go. And, of course, be sure to subscribe to the podcast if you're not able to listen live on wherever you find your podcasts or on anchor.fm/Big D After Dark. And also continue to follow us on Big D Soccer and catch the latest news and insight that we offer up. And, let's hope the playoffs are ahead. Let's hope this streak continues, all right? Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening, and stay safe. All right.
See you guys.
Ciao, gang.